about some flat Earth stuff I was thinking about. Basically, it's just about what the Eratosthenes experiment probably was more likely about, or because I think there was a time when most people on the Earth thought it was ridiculous, or the thought didn't even enter their head of the Earth being a ball or spinning or anything like that. If they were testing shadows over distance, they would have, like, what would you logically come up with? What data would you get if you did that? And to me, I'm thinking if you knew it, and let's say you had a thing like the central area, let's say like one of these things where like they have in Egypt or the Vatican or wherever, and the sun goes directly overhead and it makes no shadow, and then you started signaling with a mirror outward in every direction to other sticks and or wells and see how big the area is at the same time, where one spot the shadow goes away, which means it's at the very edge of the sun. And then if you figure out, you could basically use the Earth as a ruler to figure out roughly the size of the sun minus the diffraction. But really, I don't know. Thinking about the diffraction, usually light diffracts, I think, to the denser medium or away from the denser medium. But either way, it's going straight down into it, so it's not uneven toward one direction or the other. Like it would just probably either slow the light down or speed as it enters it evenly. Either way, that could probably be tested, but you would still get a rough idea if you knew that the Earth was roughly, or if you were measuring over like a lake, like, and if let's say presumably or assuming the sun is roughly what they say 30, 50, 70 miles, whatever it could be, then it is doable to pass a signal along over, let's say, salt flats or a large lake, of where the only problem I see with lakes is that it'd be harder to measure the distance at an exact moment, where on like the salt flats or an area where you could almost mark it and then measure it out. And then I was thinking, like, here first I was thinking if it was like beside a lake, somebody started signaling, they could figure out how big the area was, there was no shadows. But today's day it would be probably easy with just like some sort of pipe with a bullet level, and if you cover the bottom with something and basically stand it up, like even paper or cloth, you'll see when the light basically goes all the way straight down the pipe. And you could easily just set up cell phones or something. You could do it by yourself with a bunch of cell phones or something. I'm sure there's lots of different ways of doing it. And what else? And basically, I drew out here, but using my kid's chalkboard, whiteboard, that well, that's what most people don't realize, that everything will work the same way basically, where the shadows would diverge from, if they think the rays are coming in at the same, but this way they would diverge. And I was just wondering how big is the area where the one edge of the sun is not making a shadow and the other edge of the sun is not making a shadow, so roughly we can get a rough idea of the sun using the Earth as a ruler. Yeah, and I just thought, that's when I was thinking of the Eratosthenes thing, that's probably what they did, because at that time everyone, even hundreds of years later, because I think now the more I realize that how dumb we really are, further back we go, the more you realize people were a lot smarter. So if they probably would have thought the spinning ball was a dumb idea, they probably were more likely measuring the sun, because like we are told now, they were sun worshippers. But either way, that's, even if they were, that's kind of what they probably were measuring. Right on, thanks.